And hello, everybody. Welcome in on this Tuesday. It is December the 16th, and I'm Chris Allen. And you're watching 270 Weather, weather for the 270 area code and beyond. So here we go. Um, 9 days now until Christmas? 9 days. Goodness gracious. Uh, I guess I'm just about done. I mean, you guys are there's plenty of people at the malls and the shopping centers, so I think there's still a lot of people that are still getting those last minute deals, hopefully. Let's see what the deal is with the weather. I can tell you that today, cloud cover just hung in there. Stubborn clouds. You go up a few hundred feet in the atmosphere, and there was a layer of moisture just sitting there, and those are the clouds. We couldn't get enough dry air to work down to the surface to get rid of those clouds. So they're still out there. And now other clouds are moving in ahead of the next system, which is going to be a little weak system as it passes through. It's just going to maybe produce a few sprinkles for somebody tomorrow, not everybody, but it is going to be warmer still. And today was 10 degrees warmer than it was yesterday. Yeah, even with the cloud cover today, it still got warmer than yesterday. Here's the proof with the numbers on this December 16th, a high of 47. We only made it to 37 yesterday. That 47 is 2 degrees colder than normal. 49, 48 is what I predicted, so we got close. The low was 26 instead of 10, like it was like it was the day before, and some of you single digits. So we at least we didn't have that. And tomorrow morning is going to feel much warmer than even this morning did. So we're well on our way to getting things back to where they should be for this time of the year. Here's a look at those stubborn clouds. Look at that. I mean, just look at that. It's just, all this is just sitting right here. Look at all that. Stubborn, low clouds. And it's the only place that it's evident is Kentucky. Well, a little bit of southern Indiana and southern Ohio, maybe a little West Virginia. But there's that blob that just sits right on top of Kentucky. And it did not want to move today at all. And now we're beginning to see some high clouds back here to the west. Some of these clouds will start to move in as we get into the overnight hours and into tomorrow. So it's like we get rid of these clouds and more clouds start to take over as we get some Gulf moisture moving in. Checking some of the has cams, there is a beautiful shot of Metro Louisville on, what is that, the east side? Maybe the west side. But there you go. There's Metro Louisville where it's 42 degrees, wind southwest at 10, and you can see the low clouds that are still out there. We go to, of course, Litchfield. Take a look there. You can see the low clouds there as well with a temperature of 43 and a northwest wind at, well, it was at 12. It just went to 9 miles per hour. Still going to be a breeze overnight tonight. We go to Cage, Kentucky, and far western Kentucky. Your skies there are clear. Look at the stars. There's some clouds off in the distance looking east, but you're seeing a mainly clear sky and a mild temperature of 46. That's the thing. It's still relatively mild even right now across the area. Over to Pikeville. I don't think I've ever looked at their camera, but there it is. The city of Pikeville that sits down in the valley. It's a beautiful place. They get a lot of fog, though. They're getting those low clouds there with a temperature of 45. Yeah, nice little shot there from Pikeville, Kentucky. And you see, yeah, that's Ryan Hall's one of his cameras. He's part of that network, which I am working on to be part of that network as well, so that we can kind of see those things as well here in the 270. He's in the 606, of course. Now, I do want to show you this, and this came out today with the Storm Prediction Center putting us in this marginal risk. It's a low risk, and it's for Thursday. Marginal risk of severe storms over Kentucky and Tennessee. Now, before you jump to conclusions, I know I've said that I was not concerned. I said this even last night, if you were watching, that I'm not concerned about a real severe weather risk. Okay. And I stick to that. It's going to be a conditional threat. And by that, I mean, if we can get some surface heating in here, sunlight between a morning round of showers on Thursday and an evening round coming in Thursday afternoon and evening, then maybe, and even then, we're talking about a small risk, very low risk of strong thunderstorms. Most of what we're going to get on Thursday is just going to be rain, but maybe a rumble of thunder is possible. Now, this is the outlook according to the Storm Prediction Center. The main threat is going to be isolated damaging wind gust, but that's really only if we get a strong or maybe perhaps a severe storm. But even the chances of that happening are low, because even though we've got a little active low-level jet energy, there's not any instability. And the dew points, I showed you that last night, only getting into the 50s and not the 60s. I'm just not that concerned right now. But anyway, in their discussion, they're talking about low pressure moving through with the cold front and all of that. Ahead of the front, a narrow plume of 50-degree dew points will extend as far north as the Ohio River, with lower 60s possible in Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. If something severe is going to happen, that is where it's going to happen, I believe. We're going to expect a lot of cloud cover and a lot of rain. We could pick up about an inch of rain on Thursday. If we keep those clouds and we keep it rainy, that's going to keep down the instability, so we don't have to worry about, severe weather. But I think a lot of this outlook has been put up because of the threat of severe strong winds. Yeah, so it does cover Bowling Green to Somerset, up to Paris, Kentucky, Louisville, Princeton, Evansville, Princeton, Kentucky, Princeton, Illinois, both Princetons. Paducah is included, Poplar Bluff, Kennett, Missouri, Jonesboro, and then pretty much all of West and Middle Tennessee, including Nashville. So it's a pretty broad area, but I think if there's going to be an issue with something severe, then we're going to be, we're going to be looking at, I would say, this area right here on the southwest corner is probably the most likely area that we're going to see anything severe, like a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, I think the Storm Prediction Center put this out because they're concerned about the wind. The wind dynamic is going to be pretty strong. low-level jet's gonna be active. There's gonna be a little, not twist in the wind, but there's just going to be a lot of movement of wind, and I think that's why, they put this out. So that's for Thursday afternoon and evening. We'll keep an eye on it, see how this, if it changes any, in the coming days. All right? So, um, it's just one of those things we're just gonna have to, it could be a sneaky situation. One of those times, when we get in the cold season and the cold months of fall and winter and early spring, some of these little systems like this can be sneaky in that there doesn't appear to be a big severe weather threat, but then something happens, a little nuance, a little something, a little more dynamic happens, and then we get a few severe storms. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but it just doesn't right now. I'm not confident in that. And I do feel like the threat is very conditional. In other words, some other things have to happen, like instability, before I'm convinced we're going to have a situation on Thursday. We move on to the current conditions from the Kentucky Mesonet Network. The coldest temperature right now is, guess where? Always Burkesville, Cumberland County, on the Cumberland River, 35. Everybody else is almost 10 degrees or so warmer, in the mid 40s. As far as high temperatures today, let's take a look at that. Um, we didn't quite get as warm as we wanted to, and that was because of the clouds, but 40s, mid to upper 40s, after starting in the 20s this morning. But look at Burkesville. Burkesville started out at 15 degrees this morning. But again, that Mesonet sensor is down on the Cumberland River, or right next to it. So it's going to read colder than everybody else. But up at the Corvette plant, it was a low of 21. Down at the Western Ag Expo Center, 26 was the low temperature. Most everybody else mid and upper 20s for high temperatures today. Of course, no precipitation as we check that. Winds are currently from the south and have been all day, and that has helped us warm into the 40s. And if we'd had a little more sun today, we would have gotten closer to 50, I think. But right now, winds coming out of the south, still a little breezy from time to time at 5 to 10, even up to 15 miles per hour. All right, let's go to the surface map here, and things are very dry as we go through tonight. Now, this little piece of energy coming in, a little short wave, you see it back here, but it's helping draw in, so are the southwesterly winds, draw in a little bit of light precipitation. It's light rain, and in some cases, sprinkles. This is what would be passing through tomorrow morning, but as you can see, by midday tomorrow, it's gone. So we're looking at a partly sunny day tomorrow. Not bad. It's going to be warmer. We're going to be more into the 50s with more sunshine. Yes, a few clouds, but more sun than we had today. Then we get into Wednesday evening. Here comes a warm front, more southwesterly winds. In fact, the winds will start to tighten up and become a little more breezy as we head into Wednesday night. And then Gulf moisture takes over, and look at the coverage of the rain. This is Thursday morning, 6 a.m. We go from a few showers to a better round of showers, and possibly even a rumble of thunder, but those isobars are tightly packed, so that means we're going to get a strong southwesterly wind, 20, 30 miles per hour, maybe some gusts of 40 or even higher expected on Thursday until this cold front makes its way through. But we're going to be in that area where we could pick up a stronger storm or two, especially as we head, here's late afternoon into Thursday evening. The first cold front comes through. Yes, there's two of them. the backdoor front here is the one that ushers in the colder air. Notice the winds ahead of the front are from the south and west, very warm and breezy. And then behind the second front, well, actually behind the first one, but more so the second front, the winds come from the north and west. Therefore, we're going to have a much colder flow. Temperatures are going to drop rapidly as we get into Thursday night as the showers come to a close. Notice it's all rain for us, but off to the north, some as that colder air arrives, some of that, if there's leftover moisture, could change over to a mix. I don't think we'll see that here. Maybe in far northeastern Kentucky, there may be just this brief period of some light snow showers. That's late Thursday night into early Friday morning, but not down here, not in the 270. This would be further in the 502 and maybe part of the 606. Another little front, little weak wave comes through with gusty, cold, gusty winds. I mean, Friday is going to be really chilly. We go from near 60 on Thursday to only the upper 30s on Friday. Here's a look at Saturday. We get a little reprieve here, but notice the winds immediately behind that system go back from the southwest. Here's a warm front and another one down south. This is going to turn our temperatures a quick turnaround from the upper 30s on Friday back into the 50s on Saturday and for the rest of the weekend. Notice here, tight lines again means it's going to be breezy southwest winds. Here we go into Sunday. Little system comes through with a shower. It's not a big chance, 20, 30% chance. Here we go into Monday, still a chance of showers, a little weak wave coming through, tapping into that available moisture and setting off a few showers. Then as we get into Tuesday, this would be Christmas Eve. Yes, the eve before Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. Rain, warm. Now, I can't go any further than this with this particular map, but I can with this one. And this is the European forecast, which has been, I'll have to say, quite accurate lately with its depiction of how things are going to flow and move. So here we are tonight into tomorrow morning. Notice that little bit of rain, little sprinkle or something that comes through. Not a big deal. Notice the rain-snow line is way to the north, up in the Great Lakes. So that means colder air is away from us. And look at the warmth that we get on Thursday. And here comes the system. Look at that, 981 millibar, deep low pressure system. I mean, wound up tightly. Look at all that snow and look at all those winds. Whoo, chilly, chilly winds up there in Minnesota. Now, we're going to get, this is your cold front coming in right here. Out ahead of the front, there will be just this strong southerly flow. Again, this flow is what's going to help us get the rain, but it's also a warm flow. So out ahead of this system, that's the setup. So it's all rain for us. And the gusty winds, notice how tight the lines are here. Wow. Again, we could have some wind gusts over 40. We're looking at about midday Thursday. Showers. If we get enough instability, maybe a thunderstorm or two. And if we get enough instability, then yes, a strong or even severe storm is possible, as I noted earlier. But don't look at this as this is not a big outbreak, kind of system. It's not. It's moving too fast. There's not enough instability with it, so I'm not concerned. Okay? Not concerned about that. But, I do look at this plunge of cold air. Look at this thing being wound up and just throwing it down. So this is the colder air that's going to get drawn in behind the low pressure system up over the Great Lakes. It's going to throw down that very cold air. So the thing is, though, with the winds and the fast movement of this front, I think the moisture is going to be out of here in enough time to clear things out, so that we don't have a changeover to any other precipitation. Now, maybe in Indiana or Michigan, they may get a little changeover, but not us. So there's our cold coming in for Friday. But look how fast it retreats. It goes back to a warmer flow. We get what we call a more zonal flow, west to east. That means much warmer air. And look how much of the country, you know, is going to be in the warm sector. Really, really good. So this is Saturday. We start to go into Friday night, Saturday. It starts to warm up. We get warmer and warmer Saturday into Sunday. There's your really good zonal flow. I mean, that is just almost a straight line west to east. So that means for us warmer temperatures for sure, 50s over the course of the weekend. All the cold air stays up here in the Central Plains, Upper Midwest, Great Lakes. Here comes a little chance of showers, maybe Sunday, but not a big chance. We go on into Monday. Well, there's a little dip there, but not much as a cold front passes by. And look, the cold air retreats once again, but here comes some Gulf moisture, a little bit, enough to set off a few showers. This is Tuesday, Christmas Eve. We get a few rain showers. That continues to move through. Here's Wednesday. This is Christmas Eve. And look, rain and temperatures in this warm flow in the 50s, possibly even into the 60s. Here we go, Christmas Eve, showers. Now we're into Christmas Day, showers. Look how far north the cold air is, way up there. So no, like I said before, no white Christmas. It's going to be warm. So if you get a new toy that you can ride outdoors, like a bicycle or motorcycle or ATV or so, man, it's going to be good. You're going to be like, hey, I can get out here and ride around in the warmth. I mean, just check it out. Now we're going into the day after Christmas, and all of this, look at all that warm air, really warm air. It wouldn't surprise me if we do make it into the 60s. Now, here's this the new graphical tabular outlook from the Weather Service. This is a new product. I showed you this last night. Here's they've noted here on day 3, which is Thursday. As you can see, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Or 6 a.m. Thursday to 6 a.m. Friday. There is that level 1 marginal risk for mainly damaging wind threat on Thursday. Okay. Here we go tomorrow, hourly. You see, we go from the 40s tonight into maybe upper 30s, getting only as chilly as maybe 37, 38 here in Bowling Green, but then we quickly warm back into the 40s during the day tomorrow. And yeah, the winds are going to be, look at this, breezy at times. Winds, you see the arrows coming out of the south, southwest, and there you go, a 18 to 20 mile per hour gust at times, fairly steady gust, 15 to 20 as we get into the day tomorrow. Look at how low the dew points are. It's so dry, and again, that's why today, even though we had the clouds, that was upper moisture here at the surface. It's too dry to really substantiate any kind of moisture. So yeah, that's why you didn't find any raindrops around anywhere today. I can slide this over and we take a closer look at Thursday, and there you see, here comes the rain, temperatures in the 50s, even close to 60 by Thursday afternoon. Winds are gusty 20 to 30, but occasionally I think there's going to be a wind gust near 40. Rain chances go up to 99%. In other words, 100% chance of rain. A low chance of thunder, and again, the thunder chance is not all that great. You see, we do, though, pick up a half inch plus another quarter inch of rain. So we're talking about 3/4 of an inch, and maybe some of you picking up an inch of rain before it comes to an end early Friday morning. But notice the colder air coming in on Friday. Look at the temperatures dropping after the rain. We drop into the 40s, then the 30s, and look, 20s. Into Friday morning when you're getting up to go to work, it's going to be in the 20s. And Friday's going to be a sunny but cold day. It's only going to get up in the mid and upper 30s. That's it. But as we head into Saturday, here we go, warmer temperatures coming back. We go 30s, 40s, 50s. And I say we're going to be locked into the 50s pretty well each and every day. Here we go into Monday. Look at all those 50s, Tuesday, 50s, so forth and so on. In fact, here's the graph to take us through the next 7 days. Yes, up and down, but especially here on Friday, there's your colder temperatures. But then after that, pretty mild. Winds, not much of a wind chill. Maybe on Friday, a little bit of a chill. But the winds are going to be gusty tomorrow, a little breezy, but gusty into Thursday with those thunderstorms and a little bit maybe Saturday. Here's your rainfall coming in for Thursday. Chance 99%, might as well say 100. And then those daily chances of rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but you can see the chances are pretty low. Thunder probability only there really on Thursday, if that even happens. Here's your chance of rain, total 55, 25. So we're looking at 80 to, and then another 8,800s, close to 9/10 of an inch of rain. Let's just say it's going to be about an inch of rain total from Thursday. Snowfall, ice, it's going to be too warm. Sky cover, yes, lots of clouds today, then a few tomorrow. And again, Thursday when it's going to rain, and then things clear up for Friday, Saturday. Then some cloudy weather comes back for the upcoming weekend. Here is your model blender, and you can see that pretty much in a different graph here how things are going to go. 50s. Here's your big cool down on Friday with those lows in the 20s, but then we immediately go back into the mid 50s, low to mid 50s, and look at these 60s. Look at this. Here is Christmas Eve, 60. Christmas Day is the warmest out of the next 10 days, 63. Then the day after Christmas, 61. Look, isn't that something? Out of all of these days, the warmest one is going to be Christmas Day, into the low 60s and lows only around 50. That's pretty incredible. So, yeah, it's going to be one of those situations where it's going to be mild, it's going to be warm, it's maybe some rain, but temperatures in the 60s, that's crazy. But there we go. So, R&R Controls is our sponsor, and we want to give them due justice here tonight. Thank you, R&R Controls, Barry Connolly and his family, making everything tick here, and they can do the same for your HVAC system. They do commercial HVAC services, but they also do services like that for your home, especially preventative maintenance, making sure your system is running optimum, the way it should, making sure those filters are changed out and making sure the compressors are working and the ventilation is working and the fans and all of that. You know, there's a lot that goes on, and if you don't pay attention to it, it can go bad very quickly. And then you're without heat in the winter, and then in the summertime, you're without AC. So call them. New builds, they do those as well, installation, and they take older systems and get them back to life. If there's a way to do it, they can do it. And of course, commercial and business. They take care of some big corporations with their heating and cooling and ventilation. And of course, Generac Generators, the number one name in generators. They can install, sell, and maintain those generators if you ever need it and the power goes off. rnrhvac.com or call that number 270-777-2024. Very easy number to remember, 270-777-2024. Because with R&R Controls, you will never be without. And they make sure that you'll never be without. All right. No stove for Christmas. I am so sorry that's the case. A. Marie Sullivan. Thanks, Chris, for the update. No snow sounds, I guess she meant good to me. See, some people don't want that because it's, some people will actually enjoy a warm Christmas. Like I said, you can get your new whatever and go outside if you want to enjoy it. Here is Chris D 7244. So a wet and warm Christmas. Yep. So that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching here on this Tuesday evening. I'll see you in the morning live on News 40 Sunrise at 6 a.m. and then News 40 at 9 and News 40 at noon. In the meantime, God bless you. Thank you for watching 270 Weather, and have a blessed rest of the evening.